Previously on It's Tale Time.
Gokaiger, Gokaiger, Super Sentai 199 Hero Great Battle.
That one? Oh, that's one of my favorites! Great choice!
Wait, what?
So, that's the whole movie, and well, I love it. A coin. I wonder... Hey all, welcome to my second Super Sentai review, and I think I'll call this series, Sendu Sentai Reviews, for now at least, until someone suggests something better. Well, that last movie was actually canon. It took place in between episodes 16 and 17. Since then, much has happened in the series. The Silver Ranger was introduced. He's a Super Sentai fanboy, which in this particular season is actually appropriate. And now there's another movie featuring someone completely different. Here it is. Whoosh.
Kaizu Sentai Gokaiger vs. Space Sheriff Gavan, the movie. Now, a quick question comes to mind. Who the heck is Gavan? A past Sentai? No. Maybe a Kamen Rider, remember them? Nope, not him either. It's actually in celebration of the 30th anniversary for a completely different henshin series called Metal Hero. Now that is one crazy crossover. Space Sheriff Gavan was actually the very first series in Metal Hero back 30 years ago. The actor actually played two other characters in two other Sentai teams, but we'll get to that later. Now, on to the film. Once again, the film opens right into the action with the Gokaiger ship being shot at by an unknown opponent. They try to fight back, but are ultimately outmatched once this clearly 70s designed dragon thing comes out, shooting them down and leaving Gokai Silver, Ikari Guy, as a witness in the distance. So, the fight moves to the ground where Mr. Sheriff reveals himself in all his classic design wrath. Well, these, they fight, kick, kick, bang, bang, and the Gokaigers are ultimately captured with some CG ropes that look terrible and don't even react properly. Well, they are taken in and immediately have to walk the Green Mile, if you know what I mean. All hope is lost. But wait! These cops were actually Zangiak in disguise, and Gavan suspected as much. So, he does a massive jailbreak and explains he only put them through all this because it was the only way he could stop them from taking over the police.
So the only way to stop Zangiak from taking over the police were to shoot down the Gokaigers, capture them, put them on death row, and then break them out.
Well, while pondering that, there's a big fight going on where they introduce a fake Gavan when Captain Marvelous, yes, that's really Gokai Red's name, recognizes Gavan's name and wave from his childhood when... shows up to break them out just in the nick of being very late and is lectured on that. Thanks guys, maybe next time he'll just leave you there. Anyway, Marvelous tells everyone that he actually encountered Gavan as a child while being a stowaway on a ship that was under attack by Zangiak, which he says oddly in a very mellow tone. And he wasn't a pirate back then, so I guess dressing like that was just his thing. Anywho, they did one of those jump and I'll catch you bits, and long-ish story short, he owes him his life. When, all of a sudden, phone call! Yes, they're more for things, also double as cell phones. It's from Bosco, a reoccurring bad guy from the show who has a history of betraying Marvelous back when they were pirates together. He tells them that Gavan was taken to the Makanu dimension and mocks them, saying no one has ever broken out of there or left there, and going there would be a gigantic death trap. Oh, that's nice. Ooh, here comes more fan service. Yes, like I said, the actor who played Gavan, Kenji Ohabo, also played two other characters in Sentai teams. And he did the stunts in and out of suit for all three. Oh yeah. They decided to play on that in this movie.
It's not an overall difficult trick to pull off, although having someone in between the two actually touching both of them is pretty impressive.
Well, these two reveal that, for no explained reason, their ranger keys can open a portal to the Maku dimension, So, ignoring the fact that Bosco is a completely untrustworthy source of information, they proceed on the daring jailbreak, where they cut to a pretty pathetic torture scene. Now, the Gokaigers do some silly stealth action where they sneak around in the shadows in bright, colorful outfits when, plot twist! Bosco actually wanted them to go so he could raid their ship that they left alone out in the open. Now, while one might think this would become a controversial subplot, all is forgiven when...
その先には行かせない。誰？レッドバスター、ブルーバスター、イエローバスター、特命戦隊、ゴーバスター。
Now, this right here is one of the main purposes for the movie. The anniversary stuff, that's all well intended. But every year, they get a sneak peek of the next team in one of the movies. Normally, they just show up for a fight scene, do their roll call and leave, which is exactly what happens here. They fend off Bosco and leave the rest of the Gokaigers. Although in all fairness, when the pirates made their first appearance, they actually worked it into the series, so... I don't know. But, let's stay on topic. So, the Gokaigers manage to get inside where they discover some other prisoners. First being... who is a whole other story on his own, but let's just say he's a reoccurring goofball in the series, and several other baddies from past seasons who were not the main bad guy, but members of the crew. You know, the Goldars, the, Finsters, I think. Honestly, I don't know every season, and I only recognize a couple of these guys. However, they do claim to have given up their evil ways, and just desperately want to be released. Well, all the excitement has blown their cover, so they do break everyone out, I guess just for the heck of it. Then, with the number of Zangiaks seemingly endless, Joe and Guy, Gokai Blue and Silver, decide to hold down the fort, while the others advance. Yes, it's the old gag of where the allies will keep disappearing to hold off an endless attack until it's just the main character, or the Red in this case. Don and Luca are next to go, then even Pink decides to fight a solo battle. Aw, how noble. Now, we are finally here. Gokai Red takes on the Gavan lookalike, cleverly named Bootleg Gavan, in a pretty cool fight scene. I honestly have always enjoyed the one-on-one fights these series have. Well, that goes on, and Gavan is freed in a pretty cool ricochet shot, and he gets to return the catching favor, although it kinda looked like he didn't really need it with the landing. But regardless, it's time to go. Now, how do you escape a multi-dimensional prison that has been described as a labyrinth of death? Easy, just blow some holes in the floor. Now, let's have an airless fall and some over-the-top fire effects.
It's not that I want to fault the movie for having bad CG. I mean, after all, it's only a kids movie that's really intended to advertise toys when you get down to it. But maybe not have as much of it, just leave some things implied. Could be more effective, maybe even cheaper.
Alright, everyone is out. Gavan and Marvelous have a memories moment, and everything is at peace until... So now, the big final fight. Not much to say about it. It's fun to watch. They engine up, then we randomly get a scientific explanation as to how that works. They fight, small fries go fast as they always do, then the Gokaigers fight the big one while Gavan fights Bootleg. They use lasers to power up their swords. Gavan is the good guy, he uses a light green beam, while Bootleg is the bad guy with a red one. Enough said. Any switch, the Gokaigers fight him off, lose at first, but then come back, and then we get this scene that makes it all worthwhile. Well, like I said in the last review, sometimes they adapt with their Gokai changes, sometimes it's just showing off. But it doesn't matter. They also go all white and all red, so it doesn't give people much time to crack a joke. Well, everyone goes boom, and then he grows, as they always do. Then the giant fight, and this is completely underwhelming fight. They jump from form to form without attacking, then they jump onto Gavan's dragon and do a sort of fuse with them, then they do this triple slash with Gokai Red and Gavan on the head of the dragon, which is pretty cool, and everything goes boom, saves the day. Now we're at the final scene. They have some sentimental talk when this is the best. The other two, same actor, different characters. Characters show up, and literally a voice from the sky says they should henshin together for the sake of the children of the past. Calling that fan service would be a complete understatement.
So, that's the whole movie, and well, there's definitely more to nitpick, but it's still worth checking out.
Yeah, I made fun of this a lot, and to be honest, the first and second half of the film feel very distant from each other, but most of the complaints wouldn't bother the targeted audience, or anyone really. And even if you don't have nostalgia, it's still a lot of fun to see these old actors return after 30 years and show that they still got it in them. Also, I do actually look forward to seeing the new Sentai team sneak peek. And the Go Busters, well, that's something I'll have to get to someday. Overall, I say check it out. Just keep a light mind while watching it. What do you call those? Popcorn movies.
So, I guess that'll do it for Gokaiger movies. Now, I have a lot of work to do, so that buzzing. I need thinking space. Suppression. Connection. It's gotta be here somewhere.
I knew he was up to something. What's this? This should even out the score.